Coming to you live from deep within a muddy, radioactive wasteland. We are the survivors of the social justice zombie apocalypse. The few, the brave, the bitchy, once more wading into battle against the zombie herds with Rantzerker 67, the ABCs of maligning Milo. This is your host, Alison, and I am joined by DrRandomercam and the mighty antlers of the teal deer. Hello, guys. Ready?
I swear it started off as zombie hordes and then became zombie herds. Do hordes naturally evolve into herds, or is it the other way around?
Do hordes have more organization than herds is really my question.
I just feel like they're appropriating my culture.
Yeah, the herd culture?
Yeah, zombies have appropriated deer culture.
and I'm a hoarder, so I feel like they're appropriating my condition.
Okay, but...
I'm not a hardcore hoarder, but there's lots of shit I should throw out.
I thought deers were solitary animals, though.
Some of them herd, some of them don't. It depends.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Reindeer herd.
Yes, like the 300 that were brutally struck down by Zeus in Norway because Zeus is a dick.
Okay.
Or I suppose it should be Thor in Norway because Thor is also a dick, apparently, to deer.
Hashtag dicks out for deers.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Aside from this scintillating tangent on which ancient gods hate deers, shall we get into it?
Yes, we should. I would just like to point out that I think there's a slight misunderstanding in your opening thing, because we're being defined as the bitchy here, but I think that we are nowhere near as bitchy as the ABC people who hacked together this absolute piece of trash that we're about to watch. They were just like full-on screeching PMS harpy level bitch when they put this together. It was just, it's awful.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the media for you. They tend to do that quite a bit.
Don't know if you ever saw that show, The Internet Ruined My Life. I think Sui Park was on it, and then Brianna Wu was on it. And I assume that was just some nuts fucking cable channel that did this for some bizarre amount of money. But no, it appears to be, this is how every news outlet frames it in this. Well, you'll see.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, can you hear this?
We confront the dark underbelly
Is
of
it loud
social
enough?
media.
Yeah, it's loud enough, but maybe full screen it.
Shout-outs, an alarming number of users are exploiting their platforms to spread hate. One self-proclaimed internet troll, Milo Yiannopoulos, tells us he's unapologetic and proud, even after being banned from Twitter for his infamous...
Banana.
Yeah, no, and also... Yeah, I mean, we already know who defines who's spewing hate, but I mean, as the I guess the bro team leaks shows, one side is also trying to destroy the lives of the others.
One side is entirely cat videos and birthday shout-outs. The other side is where all of the raised words happens.
And the one side has the complicity of the media. But you know, it's the other side that's all powerful. Damn it. And also controls the general social consensus of everything. Yeah, all right.
Without using the mass media somehow.
Yeah,
because that's how you do it. You're able to control what everyone's thinking by using none of the mainstream sources to do so. That's a very impressive power, I have to say. I didn't realize that that this side of the fence had full-blown mind control going on.
You know, the Gamergators, and I guess by extension also the originally maligned men's rights activists, we tap right into the ether of the consciousness, and we strum it like a fucking guitar. So there you go. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I've got shit.
Starting. Are you falling asleep again?
No, one of the fucking speakers fell off like a second before you came to me, but it's good now. It's probably
okay. All right, let's go to the next banana.
Yeah, it's not just us now; it's conservative.
Or maybe in celebration of our harvest, like me and my husband have recently harvested our squash and zucchini. We could call it a zucchini instead. Like you could. Oh, well, the pause. You know how we usually say we need a banana when we need a pause? Yeah, let's call it a zucchini. We need a zucchini. It's like,
Okay.
this
That's
zucchini is
far
epic.
too Amerocentric for me. We would rather call it a courgette.
A cogia?
Courgette. There is no English-sounding word for it. It's either the Italian one or the French one.
Well, is this like a vegetable, or is it some... Like, what is this word
Another
that...
word for a zucchini. They're exactly the same thing, I think.
Well, why wouldn't you use zucchini?
Because it's a courgette.
A courgette, first,
Only
you mean...
heathens call it a zucchini.
Seriously.
This is what happens. This is what happens when we take away our glorious colonial influence from all of you pretentious savages. You go back to spewing these nonsense terms for things.
They took out a bunch of French words, didn't they? Something to do with whatever. They stopped calling French fries French fries. Well, some people did.
No, we always call them
They tried to
zucchini.
take out the language and a few German terms, but they're fine with Italian terms, despite Italy being quite on board with the Nazis. All right, it's complicated.
Okay, but the zucchini, like, first of all, we never took away French fries. We're Canadians. We never even took the French away from the Quebec, the
Obviously,
Quebec.
I'm talking about the Yanks.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the zucchini?
I don't know. I suppose it's a sort of coin toss as to what Canada's going to land on, isn't it?
Yeah.
It might be the British or it might be the American.
Okay, well, let's do the coin toss with the...
It's surprising that you don't land on the French, though. I think courgette is French. Sounds pretty French. Anyway,
zucchini.
Zucchini. Longest zucchini tangent ever.
Taunting of Ghostbusters star Leslie Jones. He talked to ABC's Terry Moran in London.
It's an ad. It's a fucking ad.
Yeah, they had to put one
It
in.
is.
They just insert, and that looks like a giant zucchini. I just wanted to say that.
Troll. Happens to have the word. All right, that's part of the.
Why didn't they use his own moniker? Most dangerous faggot.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there ever going to be a point where we sort of language police the word troll out of our vocabulary? Because that's got out of hand. No, because you really fucking need that word, don't you, folks?
Hollywood.
Oh, because otherwise they'd have to call you by something like equally from some sort of other folklore that doesn't sound quite as menacing. Because it's kind of funny. Like troll is sort of that. As far as I'm aware, it's sort of generally more of a Scandinavian thing. Like we have the equivalent in the UK, but we tend to refer to them as like fairies or fae folk. And I suppose if they started calling all of the evil people who do all of the sinister shit, like stealing your socks and souring your milk on the internet, if they started calling them all fairies instead of trolls, it just wouldn't sound quite as menacing.
No.
Yeah, and hobgoblin is too many syllables.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
let's-
also an excellent beer, which I would rather they did not besmirch.
Okay, how do you say zucchini in French again?
Courgette. Or
Let's
courgette.
courgette. That doesn't even work. Courgette. Mike,
You can say it with the R. Courgette. If you
courgette. Courgette.
If you're from Yorkshire. Courgette.
Throw a courgette in that stew.
Well, why would you two British people be wanting me to use French?
I don't know. That's what
Aren't you still at war with the French?
It's closer than Italy, all right? Shut up.
Go for it, Mike.
It's all over the city.
A remake of the beloved 1984 movie Ghostbusters. Get out of my fridge!
It's still an ad.
This time with
This is awful. Like it's awful.
I'm going to zucchini this just because it's an ad and I don't want any of that going into your subconscious, folks.
Yeah, let's just move it past the ad.
I'll let you.
All right.
But we need to make sure that the Goy go out and buy their tickets to support our cause.
God,
I
Jesus
think
Christ.
we've moved into bigging up Leslie Jones now. This is going to make her career if she even has one.
But within a few days of the movie's release, Leslie Jones was subjected to incredibly vicious attacks on Twitter.
Okay, wait a second. This is vicious? Like
The
seriously,
vicious
this
attack
is
that
vicious.
is one tweet. We're going to show you one tweet, and that's a
You know-
vicious attack.
The most vicious attacks that come from Twitter incite additional aggression towards groups of people. You know, and they usually do that by playing the victim. I'm just saying. All right, anyway.
Yeah, this is what they said to Darwin, man. It drew pictures of him as an ape, and he went on to be a good guy. So yeah.
Known as trolling, came from anonymous users, but not all of them.
Oh my God,
This
she
is not
was called
trolling.
transgender?
Why
was
don't
called-
they understand the difference?
It's just insults, right?
Yeah,
I mean, trolling.
abusing someone and insulting them is not the same as trolling. Trolling is when you do something that's kind of intentionally stupid, but to the point where it's believable. Like having a really intense conversation with someone about how the Earth is totally obviously flat, and citing like loads of stuff that superficially looks like it could be actual evidence, even though it's complete bullshit, and just sort of engaging with that. That would be a troll because you know you're pissing someone off. That would be a trolling thing. Or like
there is something of a spectrum. There is, sometimes people are, trying to make an argument, and sometimes people are just making an argument they don't believe in to get a rise out of you. And sometimes it's kind of half and half. Sometimes, they're saying something they half believe in, and partially to get a reaction out of you. It's not entirely troll or not. So,
Okay, so it's
trolling.
Okay, so trolling is essentially trying to get a rise out of someone else by presenting a non-actually genuinely held belief. Yeah, so you try to
form of it, yeah.
You try to troll someone into an argument by not really presenting a belief that you don't actually have. I think these people actually do believe that this woman looks like an ape. It may have nothing to do with her race.
Loads of people made that comparison with George Bush. I didn't see an ABC slot saying all of these horrible, evil people.
Yeah, racist because
I
they
don't
think
remember
white
that
people look like
happening.
chimps. All right, yeah. Okay, let's hear the words of the most dangerous faggot.
Of course.
What is trolling? How do you look at it?
I like to think of myself as a virtuous troll. I'm doing God's work.
Milo Yiannopoulos, also known as Nero online, joined in the tormenting of Jones, calling her a man on Twitter to his 350...
Okay, wait a second.
You wouldn't consider that an insult, surely.
Well, but they say that when you call a boy, like you throw like a girl, don't be a girl. Okay, that's an insult to boys, but that's femophobia. Is this homophobia? No, that wouldn't be right. I guess it could be homophobia. No. Androphobia. Is this androphobia? When they're saying comparing her being insulted by being compared to a man, it is an insult. I mean,
I don't recall anyone getting banned from Twitter for saying you throw like a girl.
But also, like, if they're gonna say that that's femophobia and it's actually latent hatred of women to say that, to insult someone by saying you're like a girl, then is it latent hatred of men to say that this woman looks like a man? How can they have it both ways?
Well, surely it should be the highest compliment because we live in a patriarchy that hates women.
Yeah.
And, everything is designed to service men and please men, and men are awesome. So saying a woman is like a man should be like highest praise, right?
Rejected by yet another black dude. Oh, man. Okay.
What a liar. He never gets rejected.
Followers. In the Twitter storm
Sure,
that
I was
happened, you
mean
called
to-
her a dude. If Leslie Jones were right here, would
I've
you
gone
say,
native.
you look like a dude?
Yeah, probably.
You would say that to
Yeah,
her.
probably. I probably would.
Then,
you don't
then
have
you're
to-
an idiot.
You don't.
Really.
You,
Milo.
Wow, that's
Professionalism.
Either. Oh my.
Hi, can we have a few words from you on this subject? Yeah, I think this is my opinion. You're an idiot!
Jesus.
Cenk Yuga's
fucking Christ.
influence is really spreading.
God, why does anybody believe the media anymore? Like they have the
They don't.
professionalism of like a 2-year-old. Well, there still are people who do. I think it's an element that you just don't like. The media allows you to feel informed upon things that you can actually research for yourself. I think it's the know-it-all instinct. Like, so if you compare it what the media says on something, then you can feel like you know it all.
The media is like the biggest spreader and producer of Dunning-Kruger level idiots.
It's been babysitting like generations of children for some time now. This is the globe trying to break out of it by inventing the internet.
Free your mind. Okay. Zucchini.
Zucchini.
As everyone calls him, is one of the most famous or infamous trolls on the internet. He's an editor at Breitbart, the ultra-conservative news website. He accused Jones of playing the victim and later called her barely literate.
I don't say anything I don't.
Okay, so he did the classic grammar troll. Oh my god, the man is a menace. Oh god, you attack what you like about this woman, but do not attack her grasp of English language and grammar. That's just low.
I defy anyone to say that they've ever had any sort of disagreement with someone on the internet, and that person hasn't basically just been like, well, you missed a comma out in this one sentence in your 10 paragraphs, therefore I don't understand anything that you just said, or some sort of bullshit like that.
I can dismiss it. I can dismiss it because
I can dismiss it because you used because you made a spelling mistake.
You didn't
so
use the Oxford comma, that kind of thing. Comma. Oh, Mike, can you do a screen share all? Because I think that this is potato boxed when it doesn't need to be.
It's full screen right now.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to hit the share to all thing, and then it will stop potato boxing it.
Okay.
Yes, there we go. There we go. That should do it, I think. And if it doesn't, then we'll just continue on. Just let YouTube do its typical potato boxing of stuff. All right, zucchini.
Believe, but of course they do say things in a way that is going to elicit a response from people.
Jones detailed the abusive words and images she was receiving and the racist and misogynistic slurs against her that even compared her to an ape.
Yeah, we gathered.
Yeah, we knew this because you've shown us the same 3 tweets like 3 or 4 times by now. Almost like you couldn't find anything more than these 3.
It's not trolling. It's just insulting.
Yeah.
It's like, are we supposed to be shocked by this, by being told just compared to an ape? Are we expected to have an attention span that fucking short? Or are we children who just saw a picture of an ape and now need to be reminded of the word that picture is? Is this fucking Sesame Street?
Yes, it probably is. Okay, zucchini.
Oh my God! This idea,
you or me as a human being with feelings.
Of course she is. But this idea that celebrities are these fragile wallflowers, give me a break. You and I both know people in Hollywood.
Because she acted in a movie,
Hollywood
you rallied
blockbusters
people.
are sitting at home crying into their iPhones.
Why didn't you?
Yes, he's got a point. If you're gonna put yourself out there, oh look at him. He looks like a howler monkey, the guy from ABC. Oh shit! No, I'm in for it.
Racist, you hate white men. Why?
No, but seriously, look at those lips. It looks like he's calling to the, doing some sort of mating call.
Well, I mean, Milo is there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess. Well,
He's only human. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is some serious. I don't know what is it, like a love-hate sex afterwards sort of thing going on potentially. Shall I shut up? Shall we move on? Shall we zucchini?
I just found it very interesting that they're saying that Milo. They actually said he was encouraging or inciting. No, he wasn't. This thing was already in full swing. He just kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and he then just sort of got a shitload of flack for it because he's or was very prominent on the Twatters. He didn't initiate this.
It's like he turned up at a riot that had been happening for hours, and he said one thing and then left. But because he was the most famous person to turn up at that riot, he was made an example of.
I think we got a winner. But let's see what this. Let's see if this howler monkey's courtship bears fruit. Oh shit! Sorry, sir. I didn't mean. Oh wait. You're a white man. I get to do that. Okay. I get a free pass.
I'm just enjoying his current face.
Yeah, no, I actually had I had one of those white males, the social justice warrior white male. He was posturing over some shit. He's like, even though I'm a white male, I insert social justice talking point, and I said to him, why don't you, if you're a white male, why don't you shut up? Why are you talking? Seriously, by your own stated moral code, your role in life is to shut up and move the furniture, and that is all. So why don't you get going and doing that? He didn't respond to me.
Ah, so he
did it. He listened. Okay.
Hey. A result, but I don't know if it's the result we were looking for.
Ape, gorilla, and worse, and say, guys, this is good to
Why
do,
should I have
but
to
not
police
racist.
other
not
people?
ra-
Why should I have to police
Why
other
not
people's
stand
speech?
up for rights?
I'm responsible.
Why not
for,
stand up for the rights?
I'm responsible for what I say. I'm perfectly happy to tell you I
Well,
think that stuff is disgusting.
So you had
I'm
no
perfectly happy to
obligation
tell.
for your 350,000 followers.
Does Justin Bieber have an obligation to his?
Zucchini. I haven't been looking at the time, so I'm
on this woman.
being safe.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fair. Because it's almost impossible to understand what the fuck they're talking about at this time. Like,
But
seriously.
what Milo's saying makes perfect sense. It's like this guy's like, oh, didn't you think that you should tell other people what to do? And Milo's just saying, no, I'm responsible for what I say, not what other people say. And that's completely true.
Yeah.
You know, he can say something, sure, other people can then pick up on it and they may be tempted to put their own take on the situation. If all he really can potentially do is say bring more eyes to a situation, but he has no control over how people then react or choose to interact with that.
Yeah, they've been saying this since the 60s. There's a famous interview some guy did with Paul McCartney where he was saying, don't you think you should feel a sense of responsibility for all the people who like you? And he's like, no, you should be responsible as the press for what people hear. I mean, we're in it to be famous, and you're in it to, you know, work from the fame, but we get to decide what we put into our music. It's you who decides what I say on, you know, on off the record and what I say on the record, because you are the people making the record. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's continue. I really want to find out if this howler monkey is successful in his courtship. And I get to say that because he's a white man.
Here we go.
Responsible for what 350,000 people on the internet say. I'm responsible for what I say.
All right.
Do you go after Selena Gomez when her fans send death threats to Justin Bieber? No. Do you go after Beyonce when her fans go after Taylor Swift? No.
The 48-year-old actress is
I feel like we needed to have an air horn in there.
Yeah. No, but at least they let him make that point. Like, they really are selective in who they side with. And also, this has got to be some of the most painful, like, 10, 20 seconds of TV I've ever fucking seen. What's about to happen here? It's mind-boggling. Like,
a good way to get your point across is to say the most sort of intellectually like airtight thing you can think of, but say it at the one point in the discussion where you raise your voice, because then that's the one bit they'll use. Because you know how they edit these things. They take the stupidest thing you've said and the loudest, angriest thing you've said. If you only say one loud, angry thing, then they're going to have to use that. But if you like really loudly, angrily say something like not at all emotional, just really angrily, loudly shout some important statistics, and they'll have to air that.
okay.
Ways
But
around
do you
in
guys
mind.
do you guys agree that the next like 10 to 20 seconds is really cringy?
The
Like what
next?
happens next?
I haven't seen this far into it. I've only watched the first minute or so.
Okay,
Isn't this
all right,
the part
well,
where
you'll
she
see.
tells everyone to dogpile people she doesn't like.
No. Let's go ahead. Let's
I find it kind of
let's do it.
cringeworthy that she's being defined as a relationship expert. I mean, what? How? Where? When? Why did this happen? What is Leslie Jones' knowledge when it comes to the marital strife?
Probably I would. Well, maybe the next few seconds will inform us of where she stands with
I mean,
relationships.
maybe she's an expert in relationships because she was very good at defending that child that fell into that pit one time.
Oh, I see that. They're relationship expert. What? Are they just like? Okay, zucchini.
She's it's as though she's some kind of magical Negro.
Yeah, it's just okay. Zucchini.
It's a trope, folks. It's a trope. I'm not being entirely racist. The trope is.
Saturday Night Live.
Nobody writes love letters anymore.
They don't write love letters?
Well, maybe you do, you sexy creamsicle. Just want to chop all the orange off and get to the crib.
Shoot it.
If she was a black male athlete and that was a newscaster, she would be suspended from her sport and maybe potentially pending charges. Because do you remember the whole kerfuffle about the guy?
It happened several times in various
Yeah,
places.
it's like you wouldn't have gotten away with that, friend, if you were a man. Ugh, and it's just.
I'm
ugh.
pretty sure
This black male athlete with like a small, slender, white news girl. How long until that was like a racist rape threat or something like that?
Well, yeah, like a reverse racist, like, or I don't know, but it has happened multiple times that like a man will do something not even as bad as this. Like, what the fuck? I want to eat your cream. I want to eat your orange coating. First of all, it doesn't even make any fucking sense. It's just lewd.
I mean, seriously, if this was like some like say this was like the other way around, and that guy was just like, damn dark chocolate, I just want to spread you on a fucking cracker and, you know, all that sort of shit. It's like, you know, spread your chocolate all over my cracker sort of thing. It's like, how long until that guy lost his job?
I think a nanosecond. How long till the internet erupted into outrage?
Hmm.
And to be fair, all the sports interviews we're talking about were sort of real life reactions, and this scene, I'm pretty sure from the way they're talking, is scripted and at the very least rehearsed. But the point is, if the roles were reversed, this scene would not get scripted. It would not get rehearsed because, you know, all of the people they employ to do these things would come up and say, nope, can't do that, can't put that on the air, we'll get 1,000 complaints, we'll never work in this town again.
Someone's pointing out that that's her rape face. You better be wearing your chastity belt tonight, lady.
One of them is rape facing the other. The other's rape facing the camera.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. He might be rape facing the camera. Other than that, there's a rictus of pain. Whatever.
An evil triangle of rape.
It looks like the face of a guy that was in a confined space with a bunch of other people who cut a fart and looks like he got away with it.
Okay.
It looks like he's smelling the fart and he likes it.
Are we trolling now? Zucchini.
Ghostbusters is her first star.
Oh, fucking ad! Fucking ad! Goddamn creepy, goddamn woman's head thing. Ugh. It's like spinning around like The Exorcist, I think. But it's still a terrible scene.
Leslie Jones is just one target of the self.
Okay, so wait a second. All right. She's supposed to be in a comedic role, but she can't handle a joke at her expense. Does she realize that the entire movie was a joke at her expense? Like, has she not clued into that fact? That she was the butt of the joke in that movie. In many circumstances within that movie. At least from what I've seen of the trailers. Like, I haven't actually watched the entire movie, but that she definitely was the butt of the joke several times there. So, and she can't take it? Why did she star in that movie?
For the publicity. So, why on earth any of this has happened is a mystery to me.
Okay, but it's like she allows herself to be the butt of the joke in this movie. I guess she wants to be paid for it. Milo should just give her some money.
At this point, she's at the mercy of not just her agents, but the associated agents of the associated agents and all the fucking PR shitsmiths. They're all, you know, she's just the tip of this particular bingo wing of the iceberg in everyone's face. Have I lost everyone yet?
No, I think you lost me a bingo wing, but I think I think I'm riding the metaphor as best I can. All right.
Zucchini.
Milo makes a career sparking outrage, spraying vitriol at many, and helping to legitimize a movement of negativity growing on the internet. One of his hot topics?
When they wanted
That's
to have
funny because I heard that he was a news reporter and a tech reporter for a website. That's what I heard his job was. So, not quite sure where they've got this from. It sounds like a bunch of hyperbole and bullshit to me.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I mean, what vitriol does he spread? I don't log into Twitter very much because I fucking hate it. It's the absolute cancer of the internet. But anything that I did see, or most of like Milo's shit on his timeline, was like photos of him posing for selfies, photos of him with other people, or photos of him with other men in bed. I fail to see the vitriol.
Yeah. Well, this is vitriol. Saying regret is not rape. A rape culture and something hand. They can't show it. What exactly?
Oh, it's. I think that's his sign. That's like rape culture and something both don't exist or something. I think that's the one he's got. If we move it, there you go.
Rape culture and Harry Potter, both fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I would say that rape culture is a fantasy, considering what's happening with Brock Turner right now. I mean, he's got protesters with semi-automatics camping out in front of his house with signs that say "castrate the rapist" and "shoot the rapist." It's like, yeah, that's that would sort of indicate that rape is not really. I mean, you don't see protesters camped outside of his house saying, "You go, justice is served, Brock Turner, fingered unconscious girl, that was a good thing," or something more pithy than that. So I would say rape culture, yeah, I don't think anybody really condones at least the rape of women, judging from that reaction. I mean, when you sexually assault a woman, you get picketed with people with semi-automatics who are calling for your death. I would say that would not be the reaction of a culture that encourages rape. The culture that encourages rape would probably be high-fiving him. Not that would be a good thing. I'm not advocating that. In fact, I'm not even advocating him only getting 6 months and 3 months suspended for good behavior. That's sort of shitty too. But, quite honestly, the reaction indicates that, the culture in general doesn't like it when we're soft on rapists. That's all I'm putting out there.
Except the female ones.
Yeah, except for the female ones. They get a pass. Even though, the statistically, the men who go on to rape women statistically were raped by women as young men or boys. Not all of those young men and boys who are abused by women will go on to rape, but a significant percentage of those men who do go on to rape were abused. So it's interesting how we condemn the end result of what we don't give a shit about.
Alison, women don't rape. You're being internally misogynist, snowflake.
Well, they certainly don't in the UK, because you guys aren't. Well, it's not qualified as rape. Anyway, this is a long aside, and let's move on. Let's zucchini, vegetable rape.
Public space in the center of Los Angeles
is the female physique. And you're going to go after somebody's body to denigrate their ideas? What grade are you in? Seriously.
No.
Denigrate their idea. What ideas did Leslie Jones have?
And have I not heard from media females denigrating the bodies of? I remember it was in a UK broadcast, and they were denigrating the bodies of male politicians who had formerly been athletes, and they're talking. I think potato featured very, very strongly in their imagery. And they were it's denigrating people's bodies is something that you guys do too, ABC. I guarantee you'd find something from some opinion piece from these people who denigrated someone's body. And how do you define the denigration of the body? Like
I think putting a deliberately grotesque statue of a presidential candidate somewhere and just taking pictures and pointing and laughing, that would be definitely denigrating someone. Are they going to do that to Milo? Can you make Milo look grotesque? Good luck. Go.
Yeah, well, I heard somebody said that they did that in this video. I haven't seen it yet, but that Milo looks unattractive.
Oh, what do you know?
It does sort of look like a boy, came out of a boy band, but that's attractive to a certain segment. Sorry?
I believe it's called conventionally attractive.
Okay.
Contemporarily conventionally attractive.
And that's synonymous with looking like you came out of a boy band?
As far as the media is concerned, well, as far as the established media is concerned, yes. This image here is what the middle-aged ladies like.
Okay.
This is why boy bands look like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, continue.
No. Absolutely, I will, and I'll tell you why.
Because somebody doesn't have a weight that you think is proper?
So
that's revolting.
No, it's not revolting.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'll tell you what's revolting. What's revolting is the body positivity movement. What's revolting is this idea now that you can tell women that they'll be healthy at any size. Why? Because it tells women.
Zucchini, I think.
No, I think we were within the zucchini limit.
And you can
But
be unattractive and you'll be happy.
You got a thing to say?
oh, not really.
Should we let
I
Milo
don't really
continue?
have much of an opinion on the body positivity movement. I think it's sort of dumb. If you have a problem with your body, keep it to yourself, maybe. But
I would just like to add Milo's point of putting down the health at any size thing. Like, yeah, no, you're lying to women, telling them they can be like healthy at any size. I think the only addition just has to be a good old.
Thug life.
yeah,
All right.
Happy anyway. That's a lie.
Feminists are another target.
I would rather a healthier, equitable arrangement that existed between the sexes, rather than the sort of vindictive feminism that seems to exist now. And by the way, most people agree with me. Fewer than 1 in 5 women in America describe themselves as a feminist because they see what I see.
There seem to be no
Or they've just never heard of it.
okay, keep going.
limits, no holds barred.
Oh, that's where they drew the limit. That's where they drew the limit, that this guy is like, no, feminism is sort of bitchy. Yeah. It does. Feminism tries to advance the notion that women were ever oppressed by men. Even though we now know, if you believe in studies of I don't know, hormones and hormonal signaling, we know that women crying gives off a pheromone that actually affects men's hormonal system. So men are keyed to respond to women crying, and we're saying that this group of I don't know, sentient creatures that evolved to respond to women's distress can in any way, as a group, cause that distress. Like it's mind-numbing. You can say that, yeah, in certain scenarios, men were sort of paternalistic in their protection and provision of women, but to say that they went out of their fucking way to benefit themselves at the expense and pain of women is an extraordinary statement, in my opinion. And this is what feminism attempts to advance as an explanation of human history. And I find that to be extremely untenable as a postulate, as a proposed explanation for the forces of human history. I'll get off my little.
You're just weird, Alison. You're just weird. Zucchini.
I am fucking weird. Teal Deer, did you want to add to anything that we've? Because you gotten.
No, I suppose it's just further to this whole idea that men just constantly hate women. I think feminists think that humans are like hornbills in their mating strategies. Like they've actually just taken them and just sort of transposed the difference in breeding and said, yep, that's what human men are like.
And they should be more like penguins.
I mean, I don't know if do you know what hornbills do?
What a hornbill.
Does it involve rape?
Basically, they're fantastic birds. I think they're in Africa, and the way they do things is a male bird will basically build a nest to entice the female in, and once the female's in, it'll basically just jump in, rape the female, and then like build a wall on the nest so that the female can't get out, and he'll just fly back and drop food into this small hole, so the female's like trapped inside, having to gestate and hatch the eggs.
Okay.
I think that's how feminists think human males have dealt with human females throughout all of history.
Right. Yeah, it's like, and if you can't see that kind of advancing that kind of notion of the hornbill.
I can also point out to the chat, I would very much like to see some Donald Trump hornbill memes. Send those to me on the Twitter, because they built a wall around that nest.
Yeah, they built a. But it's like, yeah, if you're going to advance the notion that human men are like that, they should have a lot more support for it. I mean, and I don't want to get too much into the question of history, but I just don't buy it. I don't buy that human men have created a society in which they accrue the benefit and that women accrue all of the harm, especially since this is a society in which if someone opens fire and a man doesn't take a bullet for his female partner, he gets judged. How is that? That's totally incompatible. There were in no slave-owning society was a slave owner expected to take a bullet or a spear or a sword thrust for his slave or his property. It's absurd. It's inconsistent with reality. And I refuse to believe it of men that they, at any point, they actually, they put more harm on women than they would take on for themselves. They didn't actually preferentially suck up the harm or potential harm so women could live a more comfortable and less precarious existence. I don't believe that. I just don't. And if you take out the context of any laws in the past and you point to them and you say, well, this is evidence of this, they're out of context. They're out of the actual situation that they were in. You don't know what they were responding to. Anyway, I just wanted to. And if you're going to advance the idea that men would ever oppress women, I'm just not going to buy it. In any society, if you look around the globe, men are always the ones who are dying. In other words, in any society around the globe, if a woman woke up a man the next day, she would be 3 to some cases 5 to 6 times more likely to die violently. I mean, we like to talk about the Middle East as being a hotbed of misogyny, but if you actually break down the statistics, the more control a violent aggressor has over the target of his or her violence, the more likely in the Middle East that they choose a man to be the subject of violence. So with bombing, it's equally men and women because usually the bomber doesn't have any control over the gender. With a sniper, it's like 95% a man. When you're talking about kidnapping, it's like goes up to like 98% male targets because they have absolute control over who they typically kidnap. And when you talk about torture to death, so you kidnap and then you torture your kidnap victim to death, that is 99.99999% male. So even in the Middle East, the hotbed of misogyny, the most violent criminals and terrorists and aggressors prefer to target men with their violence overwhelmingly, which is why in those areas, if a woman woke up a man, she would be 3 times more likely to die violently. Just saying. Okay.
Yeah, we're not saying the human race is like the praying mantis, where the female bites the head off the male, and they've just gotten used to this over years. Nor are we saying that humans are like hornbills, where they do the rape dungeon thing that Tilda talked about. In reality, we're a primate species with nuanced things like hypergamy and monogamy and what have you. But, folks, if we're playing the extremes game and we look at the numbers, we're closer to praying mantises than hornbills. Chew on that for a while.
In England, sometime poet, tech journalist, Donald Trump supporter, gay Catholic, and entrepreneur.
These pathological.
I just love the words gay Catholic. Just because of the way they sound. I don't know why. I feel a song coming on.
Sociopathic feminist liars in popular culture. It is insisted upon us that we all pay obeisance to the cult of Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer that put on the cover of the magazines, and we're all expected to pretend that we like them. Well, we don't.
He's talking about a best-selling author and A-list movie star who also happens to have her own.
So who are we talking about now? Which A-list star? Because all I'm seeing is some relative nobody.
I think that's
TV series.
Yeah, it's Amy Schumer. That one. The one with all
the relative nobody Z-lister that nobody actually likes.
Yeah, I think this is either to get our blood boiling or to get the ordinary audience to cheer for another one of their heroes. Yeah, it's Amy Schumer. I've done a video on her. A few people have done a video on her. She does outrageously sexist, man-hating shit, and then berates anyone, even her youngest, most vulnerable fans, for saying the most remotely misogynistic thing. She's a massive hypocrite and a douchebag, and she's not funny.
She's a pretty typical female comedian, where the punchline is half of the time, "My boyfriend doesn't please me," or "my vagina."
Mm.
How
that's
long
the
until she goes into like one of the celebrity jungles, do you think?
She's
Okay.
already
I've
in
been asked for a citation on that, on the violence in the Middle East and bombing versus sniping versus kidnapping and torture. If you go to a website, which is a really great resource called Feminist Critics, and you do a search for that, or even ask the webmaster for that particular piece, you'll find it. It is original research by them. And they tend to be fairly thorough about how they approach their research. But look at it, look at their methodology, ask them about it, and draw your own conclusions. There's another website that's really good for this kind of information called gendercide.org. It might have actually changed locations. It's by a guy. Oh goodness, I forget his name, but it tracks the use of violence to kill, whether male or female. And it's found that the vast majority of gendercides throughout history and on this planet are against men. So when when one sex is being targeted to be annihilated, it's almost always men. So those are two good resources: feministcritics.org and Gendercide. Let me just check what it's become. It's gendercide.org. Yeah, you can still access the stuff on gendercide.org. There's still an archive of it, and it's Adam Jones who does the work there, and it's really good work into the relationship between gender and violence, and it's almost always violence is directed at men, and we prefer to see violence directed at men. Every culture and society on this planet prefers to see violence directed at men. Just putting it out there.
In case anyone's at all surprised by that.
Zucchini.
Inside Amy Schumer.
Amy? Yeah, you have the right house, 623 Supermodel Lane. Get in here, you lifesaver.
I like Amy Schumer. She's
Nobody
funny.
likes
She makes me laugh.
Oh, please.
A lot.
Oh, God. Well, you must have very low standards for comedy, I'm telling you. They're not very much makes me laugh.
Oh my God! Milo has an opinion on what makes him laugh. He is the devil. Jesus Christ.
This is the future of entertainment, folks. These are the things you're supposed to find funny, and these are the things you are not allowed to find funny. And that's it. That's the way it is. Hey.
Oh, God.
These are terrible, talentless people that we are instructed that we must like unless... And then sort of subtext is, if you don't like them, you're some kind of bigot somehow.
Milo declares himself a provocateur.
I don't entirely believe in lesbians.
Prankster.
All right. But yeah, folks like this have been cut from the same cloth for the last half century at least. Like the tradition of the very sort of obviously gay raconteur. It's gone back since at least the 50s in Britain. Even when gayness was still taboo and largely not just frowned upon, but you actually can't fucking do that. Even then, people adored the obviously gay dudes who went around pissing everyone off because they were posh enough to do it. Now this is just the current generation trying to deal with this generation's Stephen Fry. He's not Fry. He's no Fry, but he's like a young Kenneth Williams.
Okay, so I got another question about why did we switch to zucchini? Well, just with the forbearance of my co-streamers. Would that be all right? Whatever. Maybe I will show you why I have switched to zucchini, but when we're done. So just put a pin in it, Tony, and we'll do that. But when we're done with Milo.
It's the paid for after stream that's only available to Patreons.
No, I'm actually willing to show the zucchini goodness to everyone. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
How dare you shit on my cam girl joke?
Oh no,
that's fine. That's fine. I know where my humor isn't wanted.
Oh, actually, we do that. Oh shit, we're whores. Oh fuck. Okay, well, anyway. Be that as it may. Let's continue with what we're doing right now.
Squash.
that no one should be upset by his so-called antics.
If I'm occasionally mean, it's normally because they deserve it. With my name calling and with my provocation and with my bad manners, I think actually America's had enough of nice manners. If my rudeness creates conversation, my rudeness provokes people into, first of all, saying, oh, what a monster, blah, 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 and then 20% of people start talking about what I was actually saying.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
My career to be a terrific success.
Perhaps the targeting of Leslie Jones just contributes to his idea.
Hang on, I've just sort of the gears in my mind have just turned a little bit on that. You know, he's saying like, oh, if I just sort of say some outrageous shit and people actually start to talk about something, then that was a success. Here, that's being framed as, oh my god, the misogyny, you're a terrible person, kill yourself, da 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 da. But yet, false rape accusations, even though they destroy lives, are a really good way to start a conversation. No, am I the only one who's sort of
no. I am seeing
this?
I think Mike is might have fallen asleep again, perhaps.
No, I was mulling it over. I mulled for slightly longer than you, and I'm still mulling.
I didn't actually mull. I'm giving you images of zucchini.
I can't say anything. I'm just...
No, I totally take what you're saying, Teal. There, I don't think it really needs to be added to. You know, destroying a man's life is an opportunity for conversation.
But questioning whether or not a female
rude.
comedian is funny or not. Oh, no, can't do that.
Yeah, but this is so fucking controlling. He has an opinion on what he finds funny. When did we get to the point where anyone thought they had the right to say, oh, well, you're a bad person if you have an opinion on what you find funny? What the fuck when did this happen? And how far is it gonna, well, we know how far it's gonna go. These individuals think they can determine what we have a right to like. And then we're gonna end up in a society like TXH number, whatever it was, where, I don't know, everything is completely prescribed for us because otherwise we're bad people. If we don't actually accept exactly what they tell us to accept, we're bad people. And we should be punished. Like Milo, who should be punished for liking a particular type of humor. For reasons.
And videos of that punishment should be uploaded to the internet to be viewed for $14.99 a month.
Oh, okay. Wait for the zucchini. Wait for the zucchini.
It starts with the accusation of internet harassment, and then guilty as charged. No need for a judge or a jury, and then the whole rest of the article is sort of filling in the blanks. This is why he's a bad person for these various reasons. Yeah, it starts with they're a conservative, and if that's not enough to get across they're a bad person, then you go into the nuances of their sense of humor, and then it's not the beginning of their argument. It's not even the meat, but it's the piles of fucking rotten vegetables they throw onto it afterwards.
Yes, math physics nerd. THX1138 is Lucas's best movie. He just went downhill after that. Anyway, continue. Zucchini.
When was Lucas going uphill? Hey, he's the opposite of Sisyphus.
Well, he was once on a hill and then he started rolling down it. How's that?
Yeah, he's been pushing that boulder. He's been struggling a boulder downhill for his whole career. That makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense.
No, it does actually, because boulders could get stuck because of the weight. They go into the earth and. Okay, no. Okay.
Squash, zucchini, whatever, courgette. Yes.
Success. In the Twitter storm that happened, you
mean
called her a dude.
I said it's a good job there's a hot black dude in the movie. She looks like a man. I am entitled to say that I think a celebrity looks weird.
You think that's fair comment and
of course
a
it's fair
decent
comment.
thing
That's
and
like
a
the
civil
definition of
thing to
fair
do?
comment. That'll be a civil thing to do. If you don't like it, don't follow me on Twitter.
Zucchini.
Yeah, if you don't like the looks of a celebrity, I mean, she's pretty obviously meant to be a racist butt of a racist joke about black women. I see. I mean, that's my from what I saw in Ghostbusters. She was a horrible fucking stereotype.
And she's a comedy actor, by the way. And I really hope every comedian who's ever been reviewed by the press is listening to this and laughing, especially male comedians who have anything slightly weird about their appearance. Because every fucking review will start with a few adjectives, like hairy, dwarven man, Bill Bailey. So, Bill Bailey gets it a lot. But you generally need a quirk for your look. But even if you don't, they, and I'm talking the very same establishment media who will berate people for saying what Leslie Jones looks like. Well, we'll then go on to write their fucking newspaper reviews about a comedian, and the first thing they'll say is some completely superficial bullshit about what they look like.
Well, look at Howler Monkey over there. He's really working those lips. I mean, even from the side where you normally wouldn't see them, you can still see them. Sorry, I just wanted to put it out there. Should I apologize for that?
You're going to. We expect it of you now.
Okay, well, you know what?
But
Maybe
the
I
Brits
should be
are
like
Canadian.
Milo. I'll be unapologetic. Oh, that's right. He's a white man. You don't have to apologize for insulting them. Are we gonna go?
Not even the really gay ones anymore.
Yeah. Okay. No. They're officially part of the patriarchy. Look at that patriarchal swine there. All of his privilege shining in his face.
I feel like there should be some glorious anthem playing for that still.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take a moment to sing God Save the Queen for Milo, because I think...
Or maybe the sunglasses song, my future's so bright, gotta have shades. Or something. God Save the Queen. Okay, alright.
Made you a moron!
Alright.
The tip of the iceberg in a rising tide of hate and abuse in social media, one he clearly sees as a noble purpose.
Trolling is very important.
Why?
Trolling is absolutely essential. America needs more trolling, because trolls are the only people who tell the truth these days.
Many
Good point.
doing it.
Well, that's what he looks like when he's brunette. Interesting.
I always assumed the word would be brune, but I've never heard anyone use the word brune. It's one of those words that's et, even for the masculine. It's weird, isn't it?
Yes, right.
I
Yeah.
mean, blonde is spelt different if it's... sometimes people spell blonde without the E if it's a male. But brunette is the... Weird.
Huh. I wonder why.
I don't know. It's just things stick. The hair and fashion industry is a very gender amorphic place. You know what I mean? Nearly at the end. Oh, we are at the end. Awesome.
Hey, yeah, we're at the end, and we did this under an hour. I wonder why.
Sweet.
I have video of the zucchini harvest. Go put it up for us, Mike.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So people will understand why I'm using the term zucchini. Oh, wait, you know what? Before I take us on a wild tangent, Tildir, do you have anything to add to this monstrosity?
ABC, find me the things that Milo said that were actually wrong.
Well, it was wrong.
I didn't see anything wrong with that. And the point is, when he's even saying at the end, trolls are the only people that tell the truth. In that instance, I don't think he's actually talking about trolls, because he's not talking about people intentionally riling people up. He's talking about people who use anonymity and pseudonymity to say what they want to say, because they know it doesn't actually have to come back to them.
No, why should it come back to it? Why should having the opinion that Amy Schumer sucks as a comedian suddenly be the cause of social suicide? What the fuck kind of society is?
It shouldn't, but it does, because that's the climate that we live in. It's really rather bizarre. We actually do have right and wrong think, and as Milo said in that thing, no, we're told who we're supposed to like, and if you don't like them, it's because you're a terrible person, or you're a racist, or a sexist, or a misogynist, or a bigot, or some other stupid word.
Indeed. I mean, there's not much more you can say. It's so patently ridiculous. It should be. Like,
apparently someone in the chat said part 2 is out, so we could actually, since this has been under an hour, if you want to go for 2 hours, we could do part 2.
Sure,
we could go in dry.
Yeah, you know what? I'm up for that. As long as we get to clarify the source of the zucchini. I'm waiting on Mike to... there we go. There we go. All right, you gotta expand it. You gotta share all. Here's zucchini. Oh,
That's the biggest.
yes, this is the biggest. That's a prize-winning zucchini. And there's our spaghetti squash. That zucchini is enormous. In fact, if you get the second one, you can get a sense of the size when my husband is lifting the zucchini. And he's not a small guy, so I mean he's not huge, but he's also not small. We'll get him bigger. Those are lemon cucumbers. They're irrelevant to the zucchini, so you can stop this if you like. Or save them from the zucchini.
Nothing is irrelevant to the zucchinis.
No, it is. It is. Like the second one should have the giant zucchini in isolation with itself. If you hit the second one, then you'll see where the zucchini comes from.
Oh, are we carrying on?
Yeah. Well, just do the second one. Like it's pretty impressive. Like seriously. But anyway, today was no, that's the first one. That's the one you just showed. But today was the day that we had to essentially harvest our zucchini. Otherwise, it would be a victim of the Canadian frost, which is usually in late August. Actually, we don't even have a fall. But if you select the one that you didn't just select, Mike, you should be able to see it. There's two links? Okay, never mind. Let's
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm looking.
Okay, you look for that and I'll look for the other the part 2 so that we are actually, is it Teal Deer, is it ABC part 2?
I assume so. I just read that someone in the chat said that part 2 is out. So I would assume it's called Tritter Troll. Yes, well done.
There was a notification. There was a notification in the video that looked like it was a notification in the stream. Sorry if that confused you all and you were trying to click on it.
Okay, so we got Twitter Troll has no regrets about part 1. Okay, well, where's the part 2 then?
No, I think it's possible that chat did just troll us in a masterful meta move.
Okay, of what? Making us
look stupid.
Making us look stupid. Well, thank you, chat. That's always appreciated.
If that's the case, then that is that's some trolling right there.
Yeah, it is some pretty good trolling. Well, I'm gonna see if I can locate it.
I would always say just probably never trust the chat because chat is generally cancer. So
okay,
if you
well,
want to go and look for it, then
in the interest of trusting the chat, just briefly. Okay, chat, is there an actual part 2? If there is, I will. Oh shit! Now the chat's just going like fuck. It's called Confronting Internet Trolls Part 2. All right. I'll do a search on that. Oh yes, and Mike has got the zucchini up.
I have the zucchini. I have it.
Yeah. You see this zucchini? Holy shit! This is an intense zucchini.
Oh, so it's like it had a stretch goal, and then it changed mind to say go even further.
I had like an original goal.
In the chat.
All right. Internet troll.
I've got it. It's in the chat.
It's in the chat. Okay. Yes, I got it. I do have the link. Was consumed by the squash. Okay, I have the link now. So guys,
are we done with the zucchinis?
Here, like I don't know. I think we are done with the zucchinis, but that is why I'm using the word zucchini in celebration of the gigantic zucchini that we've pulled out of our zucchini patch.
So there you go. That was kind of like the intermission. We need to now flash the lights so everyone knows to go back into the theater.
Yeah, everybody go back into the theater. Let's go to the lobby. No, we have the link now. Yes, there we go. Oh, it's another 7 minutes. Okay.
So we'll do it in an hour or less.
Yes. And then, all right. Zucchini intermission is over. Remember to do share screen all, Mike, so it doesn't potato box it. And yeah, let's do this thing.
We should call it Squash Box.
Squash Box, yeah.
You all see what I'm doing there. So very many layers.
I love that. Take a look at that downvote bar. Wow.
Oh, crikey.
I guess Milo's troll army has struck.
Yeah.
It's the only explanation.
Okay, let's do this.
Even without Twitter, he's still able to tell everyone what to do.
All right.
Full screen it.
Milo Yiannopoulos may be the most infamous internet troll, but he is far from the only one. The disturbing trend of online harassment.
I don't know. Is he the most famous internet troll? Apparently, you guys haven't heard about the elite hacker known as Anonymous.
The hacker known as 4chan.
Do
But
you
yeah,
even
Milo,
internet?
I think Milo's the most famous one who has a real face and a real voice. He's willing to appear on the BBC and shit. No one else is.
I do find it kind of funny that there's a bit of an oxymoron there. It's like troll showing his real name and face. Huh. No, those two things are pretty much mutually exclusive, but okay. These people just suck at internet.
Wow, it looks like the zucchini interlude was actually fairly popular. I have no idea why, but it was.
Because it spawned a bunch of dick jokes, and the internet loves dick jokes.
Oh, unbelievable.
People see a thumbnail of a massive zucchini and they think, hello. This will be a video about something funny or something.
That
maybe?
wasn't even the biggest zucchini that we pulled out of the patch either.
That's what she said.
There was one that was even mightier. Okay, let's zucchini.
Zucchini.
But the victims, including celebrities and ordinary people, are beginning to fight back. Once again, ABC's Terry Moran.
Celebrities and ordinary people. Golly. I know that was, there's not many ways you can say it and not sound like that sounded, but still. Whatever.
Even the stars.
What is this lame music?
It's another
This
advert.
is pop song. This is what pop is now.
Work from home has fallen victim to internet trolls. Romani Corday of the group Fifth Harmony.
So is this like the Black Lives Matter way of fighting back, where you just start twerking in the street like that's going to fix all the problems?
I think they're introducing another victim of harassment. These ladies did some kind of protest song. I think I remember someone sent us this. They wanted us to do it on the Ragening. It's called Work from Home. It's women encouraging their men not to go to work for some kind of sexist angle. I can't for the life of me think what it was. But yeah, a lot of our folks thought that this was a somewhat irresponsible and irrational message. And to some degree, I agree. We'd have to watch the song itself, and I can't be fucking bothered. But apparently, at least one of the singers from that group got some mean words on the internet.
She became a victim of trolling after she appeared to stall in an interview before describing her bandmate as quirky, which some thought was a snub.
Quirky, yeah, very quirky. Cute.
The attack.
That was mostly probably their own fans,
Yeah, there's probably like their own people who are really surprised that a totally artificial manufactured band of people who are forced to work together because they sell maybe don't like each other as much as the public think that they should.
I'm
Or
just
maybe-
distracted by these pockets.
Yeah, maybe they might take a couple of extra seconds trying to think of the right word to say, given that they're talking to a reporter. But
Okay,
this is fucking social justice, people. They will pick up not on just any word, but any particular intonation of any word that makes someone sound like.
This is the implicit bias test bullshit all over again, isn't it? You took too long to answer, therefore racist.
Okay, here's my okay. Pockets. This seems to be not, and I'm not saying that I have an issue, like I'm fashionable, but that seems a little bit useless or weird to have cutoffs with the pockets hanging down. Just, I don't know, it's just bugging me visually. But also, I don't think the patriarchy is snarking at these girl band. I don't think that's where this is coming from. I don't think the trolling here is coming from the patriarchy. I'm imagining that it's coming from a bunch of 12-year-old girls who like these people. That would be my guess.
It's
Or
coming
the
from
patriarchy.
Tumblrites. Let's
Yeah,
face
it's
it.
coming from Tumblr. Tumblr is like, I don't know, if the internet vomited, that would be Tumblr. Okay.
The internet dry heaved and nothing came out, and they just carried on dry heaving for 24 hours and nothing came out. That'd be Tumblr.
Okay, well, All right.
So
let's-
Tumblr's the rhinovirus then.
Yeah, I guess so. If the internet just got Ebola, that would be Tumblr.
I blame Philip Rhino.
Okay. Zucchini.
Zucchini.
Texts were enough to drive her to shut down her Twitter account. I've been racially cyberbullied with tweets and pictures so horrific and racially charged that I can't subject myself any longer to the hate. That's what actress Leslie Jones...
Wait, hang on. So she did the sensible thing and she closed her laptop? Well done. That's the appropriate reaction.
And then opened it up again and emailed her agent, saying, "I'm being harassed on the internet. Make me famous." Can do.
Ugh. That doesn't seem to work for me.
Yeah.
Zucchini?
Zucchini.
temporarily abandoning her Twitter account after the vicious online attacks in July. It's just too much. It shouldn't be like this. So hurt right now.
Seriously? Like, seriously?
If you could hear the people in the crowd, like if you know in the cinema perhaps, or in the audience of your show, young lady in girl group, you'd hear them saying some pretty fucking sick things, but you can't hear them because they're surrounded by a crowd of other people and they're in the dark. Well, Twitter is a format where you can hear the fucking warblings of some very sick people, but it's the same process. Don't go right up to them and listen. Go the other way. Just don't go to Twitter. It's cancer. Why do you not know this?
The insults that they got were so fucking trivial. Like the complaints that these... Okay, incidentally, this graphic is reported, so one assumes that they mean reported to a agency of some kind.
This is from the Pew Research thing. But it's weird because I can't help but think that this is a horrible misrepresentation of that, because I think this is going to be the Pew Research one, which found out that 60% of people have never experienced any sort of online anything, and that this might then just be a breakdown of it. I've pulled the study up right now. I'm just going to like word search through it and see if I can find the 45%.
We're getting information from the chat, which is, you know, the source of all logic and sanity. Those stats are wrong.
Probably.
60% male, 40% female experienced harassment. Yeah, I thought that, but they might be talking about reporting to an actual authority, which will reduce the rate that men say that they were harassed. If you ask them on an anonymous survey, they report more. But if you ask them to actually report it to an authority, they don't report it to an authority because they don't feel like they're served by authorities. For the obvious reason that men aren't generally served by authorities who are supposed to deal with abuse and harassment and sexual assault and domestic violence. So there you go. It's sort of dishonest to do the statistic of how many men report something. Okay, did you take a look there, Teal dear?
Yeah, I'm just sort of still skimming through it. I'm trying to read like a several dozen page thing really, really quickly to sort of find all the relevant ones. Now, I can't find how they've broken this down. I'm going to see if I can find the part about reporting. It might be a different study to this one, honestly. Pew does do quite a few things, so it might not even be from this paper that I'm looking at. But yeah, that statistic thing just strikes me as being really weird, and it's really weird how there's two numbers in each of the boxes. So clearly it's demarking two different things.
People always use the concept of reporting to try and move the goalposts. You say men experience something more than women do, and then they go, but what about the unreported ones? Then you go, okay, are you saying women experience more unreported crimes than men experience? And they go, yes. And I go, how do you know that? And they go, because women report not reporting crimes and men report not. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Well, yeah, the thing is, in this instance, the more public you make the reporting, the less likely men will report being victims, for the obvious reason that being a victim usually will get men, is stigmatized when it comes to men. So if you ask men to tell someone in person if they've been subject to internet harassment, you will get a lower number. If you ask them to report to authorities that they've been subject to, if they've been subject to internet harassment, you'll get an even lower number. If you ask them to report anonymously, you'll get even more men reporting anonymously being harassed than women. So what is this statistic of? It says on the source, Craig Newman, RAD campaign, and Pew Research. So you're right, Tealder, it is the Pew Research. Did you find those stats?
Can't find them yet.
Okay, I think you know what? This is just entirely bullshit. I'm imagining.
I'm not even sure what the RAD campaign is. Like, the Pew Research Center doesn't even turn anything up about the RAD campaign. So,
well, what does the Pew Research say the relative rate of harassment of men and women is?
They came up with about equal.
Okay, so in the Pew Research it's about equal, but this is something else entirely. You don't know.
It was not only about equal, but it was still that a minority of people even received anything. And that it was that one which I've sourced so many times on HBR, and that's like, yeah, women are just more likely to report it and complain about it than men as well. So
yeah, well, I think that we need to move on.
Zucchini. Yeah, we could spend ages trying to find this.
Yeah, these people can hide a citation to a site. Like they will create something which is basically just this other report said this, and then you go to the other report and it references another report and another report, and then you find out that someone
pyramid citations. And in some cases, they come from like the 70s or the 80s or some such bullshit.
Or somebody's like, they floated up out of their vegetable, their alphabet soup. I saw this in my alphabet soup in the morning of 1963. That's this fucking citation. And sometimes it doesn't even, sometimes these citations end in circular citations. Something cites something which cites this thing that cites, site A cites site B, which cites site C, which cites site A. Say that like 10 times fast. All right. Zucchini.
Wall of citations needed.
Online is more often directed at women than men. A 2014 study showed that more than 1 in 4 women online had experienced stalking on the internet. Gymnast Gabby Douglas faced brutal.
How did they define stalking, and how many men experience stalking? And which statistics? Because if you're citing the Pew Research, it found equal amounts of harassment to men and women, and it also found that women were more likely to be harassed by women. I think that was from the Pew Research. Maybe it wasn't. Shall we, Zucchini?
What did you want?
Oh no, I'm not. I didn't want anything. I was just.
No. What was their claim?
Their claim was that 1 in 4 women reported being stalked on the internet, and I.
Oh yes, that's the one where they find the women have experienced this, and it's because it's one of the only 2 categories where women outnumber men.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah, the other ones are called offensive names, purposeful embarrassment, physically threatened and sustained harassment, all of which men get worse in. Actually, men and women are the same for sustained harassment, but stalking and sexual harassment is the only 2 where women outnumber men.
And probably sexual
cases.
Why, and it's always this way. They always disregard any idea, anything that shows men as equivalent or greater victims of something. They just, it goes down the memory hole, and they focus on where women are greater victims, if indeed they are. And
I always have to wonder, like, how much of this is sort of a bit interpretive as well, because they have like categories for sustained harassment and then sexual harassment. And you have to sort of wonder, like, how much of this is just women doing the, it's clearly a sexual thing, or stalked, because to say that you're being stalked requires like quite a degree of narcissism as well. Like, to think that someone is actively going out of their way to monitor everything that you're doing.
I don't know why sustained harassment is even considered a a term that's not redundant. I mean, surely harassment must be sustained, or it's not harassment.
Yeah, by definition, it is something that is sustained. Yes.
But if a man says one sexually charged thing to a woman once, that's considered a kind of harassment, just not sustained. Ah.
Yeah, you sexually harassed them because you said that your name was H. Mungus.
And the other thing is that the way they define sexual harassment, imagine if you define sexual harassment in minimizing someone's sexual desire, that men would report a hell of a lot more sexual harassment than women, or at least as much. Because the way that it works is men will, or even women, well, not women. Women will sexually harass other women by insulting their sexual desire. And women will sexually harass men by insulting their sexual desire. And whereas men will sexually harass women by complimenting their sexual desire in crude ways, I suppose. And I mean, if you included that in your estimation of, judging someone as a sexual being negatively, I think a lot more men would say yes to being sexually harassed. But I'm sure that they didn't include that. I want to put that out there. Zucchini.
Twitter attacks after she didn't put her hand over her heart at the medal ceremony when the U.S. team won gold. Douglas said the trolling was really hurtful.
I think what we consider making fun in a comment section or your Facebook page is moving very quickly and very far to something that is pretty mean.
Sorry, this shit happens to loads of people. When you don't stand for like pledges of allegiance and things. This is not a sustained trolling, horrible, hating women thing. This is just an America thing. They get really uppity about people not doing things like that without very good reason, like not having arms or legs.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that technically the reason why she is there is because of her country. So it seems really ungrateful in a way. Oh, did I just harass her? Because of her country's support in getting her there.
I see this.
If she wants to make a statement about her country not being right, or I guess the statement was about Black Lives Matter, maybe she shouldn't have gone in the first place and accepted the support of her country in getting there. Otherwise, it seems like a really hollow gesture to me. I will stand against my country when it doesn't impact my benefit. Anyway, I guess that my argument right there is trolling her. I've added to her harassment. I'm an internet harasser because I have an opinion on her behavior. Zucchini?
Yeah, there was another sportsman quite recently, Colin something or other, Keepnick or something. It was a baseball player or a football player or something. He wouldn't stand for the national anthem. Literally wouldn't stand up for it. And yeah, he's been getting a lot of coverage in the press. Did you notice I called it coverage? It's just called coverage when the world reacts to a male sportsman not standing for the fucking national anthem. When it's a female one, it's harassment. Even though you people are the ones doing the coverage. Yeah, when we do it, it's coverage. When they do it, it's harassment. We know the rules now, folks.
No, when they do it, it's coverage. When we do it, it's harassment, I think.
That's what I meant to, yeah. You know what I mean.
Zucchini. You're just distracted by the size.
I am.
Zucchini.
To bring the issue to the fore is this month's Time magazine cover, Why We're Losing the Internet to the Culture of Hate, written by Joel Stein, who has close to 1 million Twitter followers.
I love how he did put the echoes around his name.
Not Joel Stein.
You're making it easier to know who we're not supposed to listen to, guys.
Is that what that is? I thought it was just
it's an alt-right Jew thing. Like if you put those around, it denotes someone who's Jew and therefore potentially part of the international clique that is working to control the media and all of that sort of stuff. So by these guys playing into it like, oh, I'm just going to virtue signal this because it's a way of fighting against the trolls. Like, no, you're just making it really obvious who the fucking liars are and who the horrendous people are in this thing. So we know who to not take seriously in the future.
Okay. I did not know that, even though I'm supposedly all right. I don't even fucking know.
You're clearly not You're more like control right or shift right.
Okay.
Spacebar right.
Space.
We're also evil communists.
Control right. Are we communists?
I'm making keyboard jokes.
Okay, no, I got the key. I got the reference. I don't know what the fuck we are anymore. We're whatever is the most evil thing possible to be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, actually, now I understand why the chat sometimes erupts with lots and lots of parentheses. Thank you, Teal dear. I never find. I usually just figured it was some random shit.
No, it's because you're a closet Zionist who is secretly working to undermine the Western society.
Ah, yeah. Well, no, I am secretly trying to undermine society. Not so secretly, because I would like it to, not be a bag of dicks.
You're trying to overmine it then?
Overmine it, all right.
I think that should be a thing. We're trying to overmine society.
Yeah.
Trying to get all those rocks out of the sky.
Or off the ground. Okay.
We're overmining it.
Yeah.
I want some blue sky thinking.
Online and on social media, he's gotten his share of mean tweets.
I've written columns.
Oh! Oh! I'm sorry. I don't. Okay, you got mean tweets. Everybody does.
This is the news in the current year.
Oh,
Person
okay.
says mean thing to someone else.
Oh, all right, zucchini.
Can you imagine if these reporters were like reporting on like one of the world wars or something like that?
I don't think they would be able to handle it.
I know how they'd go about like the prelude to World War One. It's like, yeah, so this Archduke received a really mean letter from someone, and he chose to ignore the letter writing bullying, and then he got shot.
He got trolled in the head.
Letter writing harassment kills, or something.
Dicks out for Archduke.
Large sections of the American population. They really went after me and posted my address and told people to come to my house.
Stein became concerned when a user with the handle Born Feral, aka Megan Kester, repeatedly threatened to kick his ass.
Really? I want to kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your. Okay, I'm gonna kick your ass. That might be a threat. And then kick your ass. Oh, okay. Is it possible that Megan? Is it possible that Megan was fish? Is it possible that Megan was being facetious?
Very possible.
Oh, I want to. I mean, the plot thickens. Let's find out.
He writes this column for Los Angeles Magazine called The Intolerable Foodie that is the most out of touch thing I could possibly imagine, that just really rankles my chain. That's
okay. So she writes for Vice. Oh my God. So it's this Vice writer who's an asshole. Well, Vice is sort of, they are assholes. I'm actually feeling better for Stein. I'm actually feeling a lot less annoyed at Stein if he's going after Vice. But seriously, you think that you're going to get away with it? Like, you think that the Vice is not going to treat you like shit? Good luck with that. All right.
They were nicer to the North Koreans than they were to the MRAs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the squeaky wheel.
No, they're nicer to actual racists and bigots than they are to us because
they will actually kill them.
I don't know. Sorry?
Because they will actually kill them. I mean, we pretend we don't know why people love Muslims but hate us. It's because Muslims will kill you and we'll just shout at you on the internet.
Well, not even shout. We'll be like, yeah, that's illogical.
I'll shout at you. I'll shout until I'm hoarse, until I'm a horse, until I change species.
Okay, I guess I will shout at you too, if you're being illogical.
You do a lot of shouting. I know you probably try and block it out, but I've edited shouting quite a lot.
Yes, but it's like it's mostly about the illogic, and also the bad faith and the assholishness. Like what I don't get is this guy's like complaining about mean tweets on the internet. Meanwhile, these individuals generally will turn around and support things like using the word man as an insult, or promoting campaigns directed at men that look like they've walked off of a war propaganda film. And it's like, so what is your qualification for mean, sir? Anyway. Let's see what Megan has to say, who finds him to be an intolerable foodie.
I found it really humorous to just continuously threaten him with violence.
Stein decided to track her down and invited her to lunch.
I saw her standing outside in her very cool spy t-shirt and saw that she was even less threatening than I thought she'd be.
Yeah.
But the emails were so nice of her that I knew by then that this was going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, this is a nice resolution. It's like the beginning of a romantic comedy before romantic comedies were horrible. Almost.
I can see the future of Milo and Leslie now.
Oh.
Someone's gonna get turned.
This is really like confusing me now. Am I supposed to hate the internet hate, or am I supposed to think of it as like a backdrop for a romantic comedy from the 80s?
Just tune into the next episode of Nightline, Alison. That's all you need to do.
All right. Zucchini.
That we would get along, you know, in some regard.
You did?
Yeah.
The trolling against Stein was relatively minor.
I think as a white dude, I'm in a different situation
Oh, drink.
than
Oh.
a woman or person of color or who felt bodily threatened in my life.
This is not a consequence-free hobby.
Lindy West, a performer and author, has
Oh, that's Lindy West. I've heard people talk about her in terms of she's famous for being trolled. But I didn't know. I've never actually. Okay, this is the Lindy West. Okay.
to offer
We're bringing the strings together, as it were.
feminist views.
Thanks to a glut of cultural messaging, I knew very clearly what I was not. Small, thin, pretty, girlish, but there was precious little media telling me what I was. What
You're girlish, by the way. I don't know why people told you you're not girlish. You don't have to be skinny to be girlish. A lot of children are fat.
Yeah, she is pretty girlish. I don't even know what, like, if you're gonna promote this belief that half the human race is a bunch of evil savages, you can probably expect a little pushback from that because it's offensive. I mean, and it's not offensive in like, you know, you're just joking, but that's actually demonizing your group of people. By saying that they would do such a thing, that's demonizing. Saying they look like monkeys is not really demonizing. But you know what? Saying they look like howler monkeys, like I did with that white guy who is obviously making some sort of mating call with Milo. That's not demonizing. You know what? Let's zucchini.
what I could be.
Please welcome Jezebel staff writer Lindy West, everybody. Lindy West.
In 2013,
She writes for Jezebel. Okay, the plot thickens.
Okay, but she was also significantly smaller, I think,
Then what?
than the previous clip. She writes for Jezebel, which is just about the most hateful magazine on the planet, and she says, oh my god, people give me the hate that I put out back, and that's a problem. Okay.
Yeah, I portray half the human race as demons, and then look, some of them act in a way that might not be called angelic.
Oh yeah, what's interesting, I portray men as demons because they are demons, and then they act like demons, and I'm surprised and shocked, and I appeal to other men to save me from those men acting like demons. The entire construct of her mental reality falls apart.
Every time I poke that dog in the eye, it bites me.
Okay, and and just so we know, like, one of Jezebel's great hits was "Have you hit your boyfriend? 'Cause I have." Was a celebration of domestic violence. Just so we know the kind of publication Jezebel is. Celebration of domestic violence, right there. Okay, let's.
Every day is Bash a Violent Man Day.
Or every day is Bash a slightly vulnerable man day.
Yeah,
vulnerable.
Trying
All
to
right.
flip that thing. Yeah, trying to flip several things at once. Never mind.
About the role of rape jokes in stand-up comedy.
I mean, everybody knows the difference. Reasonable people can sense when you're trying to be funny.
Everything has repercussions. What I'm talking about is the kind of repercussion where you choose to say something that, like, traumatizes a person who's already been victimized.
After the show.
I'm traumatized by what you're saying, Lindy West. Prove me wrong. Fucking prove me wrong.
This is hateful. Okay, continue.
Was posted on YouTube. Attacks against her reached a fever pitch.
A fever pitch.
Is it because she's saying a bunch of really stupid shit and people are saying stop saying stupid shit?
No, she's responding to the stupid shit. Obviously.
Oh, God fucking damn.
Have you ever stopped to consider, Lindy, that when everyone else in the room is an asshole but you, I'm just going to leave that hanging there, because everyone knows how that sentence finishes.
That it might not be them.
Hmm.
Okay.
You're the arsehole, Lindy. Sorry, I thought I'd superliminal that bit.
This buzzing in my phone just grew and grew and grew, and it was tweet after tweet
It's the vibrate selection. You want to flip it to mute, love.
after tweet. Why does Lindy West think she knows anything about rape? No one would ever want to rape her. She's too fat to rape. It was difficult emotionally as a human being. That level of violent rage all funneled at you at once is frightening.
We've got over this so much with Jess Phillips now. Saying I'm not going to rape you is not violent. I know it's obviously mean, but it's technically the opposite of violent.
I am going to keep you safe and protect you and shelter you. Rapist!
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Oh, my God. No, no. Oh, do we have to go through her again?
Get it.
No, it's oh, God, that's new. Let's just do there. Let's just...
There's a hangout box in the way. We're about there, weren't we?
There we go.
That level of violent rage all funneled at you at once is frightening.
But Lindy West turned those hateful tweets on their heads.
I printed out pages and pages and pages of the worst tweets and Facebook comments that I'd gotten. And I just set up a camera in my living room. And I...
Yeah, she has gained a significant amount of weight. Wow.
I just read out loud, Jabba has nothing to worry about, not even a prison escapee would rape her. It's funny that an unattractive girl won't get raped. That makes her sad, so she eats and becomes fat, and that is funny. This is not...
Are those the worst?
That was not wrong.
I mean, surely the worst one you could find is someone who actually said, I'm going to rape you. But evidently, either you didn't get any of those comments, Lindy, or you didn't consider them as bad, or as mean, or as violent, or as threatening as the ones who said, I'm not going to rape you. Those were the people who really offended you, weren't they, Lindy?
What? Yeah, that is strange. Like, why would you be offended by someone saying, I'm not going to rape you? Like, I'm not offended by that. I said, good, thank you. I'm not going to rape you either. Have a handshake. What? Like, why would you consider that to be violent? I mean, that it's like the reverse threat. There's a reverse violent threat. I'm not going to do anything violent to you at all. I'm not going to rape you.
I'm not going to shake your hand. See, that's
I'm
a
not
rude
going
thing
to
to say.
period.
It's like in Japan, how, raping is like shaking hands, so it's rude to say I'm not going to rape you because it's like refusing to shake your hand.
Okay, regardless of the... Okay,
That was
so...
a meme, by the way. I don't actually think...
What are these comments saying, I wouldn't rape you, doing violence to, Lindy? What are they doing violence to? They're doing violence to your ego, your belief that you should be attractive. Well, nobody owes you that. No one owes you their sexual desire. So
you are not entitled to the bodies and the attentions of men.
No, you're not. People saying that they're not going to rape you is not violence. And if you consider it violence, you have to consider what it is violence towards. And that's revealing a very twisted attitude. Because if you consider that to be violence towards yourself, then you consider yourself entitled to people's sexual attraction and attention. I can see now that Teal'c was right to ask you the question. If everyone in the room is an asshole but you, what does that suggest?
I have another suggestion about this woman, actually, about her recent weight gain. I think she might be like the only woman who's actually found a human male who behaves like a hornbill. Just keeps bringing her food. That's all he does. While she just stays in her office all day.
He barricades her in her office and throws a pizza down the
Feeders,
street in the top.
feeders are all over. It's a real thing. You don't know who's the abuser, but those relationships exist.
I know, I've heard of it. Okay. Let's... Zucchini.
Right.
Zucchini is a very low-carb alternative to whatever, you know, just putting it out there.
It goes with a lot of vegetarian dishes because it has a certain umami flavor to it.
My husband makes a delicious zucchini loaf, which I cannot eat because it hurts my stomach. Because I don't know if it. I know that there's no such thing as gluten intolerant, but I'm short chain carbohydrate intolerant or something. Anyway, continue. Zucchini.
A group of human beings writing these things down, the most vile, misogynist, violent, threatening things they can think of.
She published the video online, this time to overwhelming support.
Overwhelming support, you say? That's good old patriarchy.
The community feels very, very different.
Okay, and here's the question. How much of the shit that you got was from women? I'm guessing quite a bit of it. Just judging from the statistics, probably most of it was from women. Maybe the ones who said I wouldn't rape you were men. It could have been women too. But again, if you consider that violence, what were they being violent towards?
The ones who say fat chicks shouldn't wear that are almost all female.
Okay, let's... I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
On Twitter, there's been a wave of support for her, including the hashtag #LoveForLeslie. And when she reported Milo Yiannopoulos, Twitter suspended his account for violating their rules.
That's patriarchy for you. It's the Saudi patriarchy at that. Yeah.
Saying in a statement today, no one deserves to be subjected to targeted abuse online. We will continue to take action against accounts that are reported to us and which clearly violate our rules. Well, you've been banned from Twitter.
Unless they're Leslie's account.
You want to get...
No, women are exempt. Because we live in a patriarchy. So women are exempt from the rules. But of course that means that they're more persecuted or some shit. I don't know what the twist is. Sometimes I just want to give up. What's the fucking point? If this level of stupidity can take root and be called totally uncontested. Women are oppressed. That's why we need to oppress men. Women are oppressed. That's why we need to create this asymmetrical system of rules which literally oppress men.
I've got a dog shit in my head, therefore I haven't got a dog shit in my head, and you have. Zucchini.
Back on Twitter, yes?
Yeah, I would like my account back. I think they should give it to me.
Well, they have a policy against abuse, harassment,
which they
incitement.
which they deploy selectively and always in the direction of
And you think they
conservatives.
deployed it unfairly against you?
Have you ever heard of a feminist being banned from Twitter?
Good question. Has anyone ever heard of feminists being banned from Twitter?
No.
Nope.
Oh, well, I don't really follow it very closely, but maybe Teal there has a citation.
Even a male one? Surely. Surely a male feminist would have said the wrong thing at some point.
Nope.
I don't know. I'm blocked by pretty much all of them, so I can't find out.
I'm sure we would have heard of it if it had happened. It would be just as wrong to ban them from Twitter. But it still shows the selective enforcement of the rules, that they never have been banned, despite being some of the largest bullies. And what a surprise, since their entire ideology is about bullying. The one group that can't seem to fight back. All right, continue.
It's really tempting to try and, not that I've been citing this, but to see what happens if you make the kill all women hashtag try and take off. Would they ban everyone who'd ever used the kill all women hashtag? Like, completely oblivious to the continuing existence of the Kill All Men hashtag.
Do you think you have a right to a Twitter feed?
They're a private company. They can do what they want. But if they're,
It's like Random House. If you bought a book of Nazi tripe to Random House and demanded they publish it, they could turn it down.
absolutely. But
Twitter can turn down whatever you're doing.
But I think they should be honest with users, and they should
Poisoning the well. Poisoning the well. If you're going to say harassment is bad and insulting people is bad, then apply it equally. Continue.
politics. If you're a conservative and you're too funny or too effective and too much of a threat, which is what I am, then sooner or later you're going to lose your account.
Twitter denies such censorship, but the wave Milo Yiannopoulos is riding to fame is having a real impact, turning life online into a living hell for some and ruining much of the fun for
A living hell, huh? You know, in every category of victimhood, I have these idiots beat. And yet, not only do they mock me, but I refuse to turn around and say that, oh yeah, these mean tweets or these mean, like this trivial shit, it's only making me live in hell if I allow it to. That's my choice. And it's just galling. Because the funny thing is if a woman steps one step outside of her prescribed role, the kind of shit that these individuals who say that they advocate for women will do to her eclipses anything that these crybabies talk about. They'll.
I'd like to take this article back in time, like 100 years, and show it to the people, you know, for whom a telephone was emergent technology. And I'd like to show them, to get one of these people to talk to them and say, oh yeah, in the future, we all have that device where we can get all the world's information at our fingertips whenever we feel like it. We can turn everything on, we can turn everything off. Oh really? That sounds amazing. What's that like? It's a living hell.
It's a living hell because of my intolerance isn't tolerated. People push back against the bullshit I spew. You know, feminists need to have a scapegoat just to get through the day. And then they complain about other people insulting them. You need to hate someone just to get through the day. You need to hate an entire group of people just to get yourself out of the bed. Out of bed in the morning. You need that to just you line up, you're looking at your ceiling, and you're like, I have no more. Oh, I hate men. That got me up. That got me out of the bed. This that you have an entire ideology that's all about giving you a scapegoat to hate in order to get yourself through a day. And then you turn around and blame everybody else or other people for being so-called hateful. Well, what is it about fish? They don't know water because they live in it. You can't even see your own hatred because you're saturated in it and you justify it. And if you think it's not true, then you tell me as a feminist whether or not you think men oppress women. Because the language of oppression is the language of hatred. Every group of people that has ever justified killing, raping, ostracizing another group of people has started with, they oppress us. Every single one. And any group of people who was legitimately oppressed had to fight against the narrative that they were the oppressors. Just putting out there. If you need hatred to just get through a day, maybe you shouldn't be talking about other people's hatred and pointing fingers. So-called hatred. Which I don't think Milo is hateful at all. I think he's a gadfly. Okay.
He's the edge that you just can't take.
For Nightline, I'm Terry Moran in London.
All right, we're done. We're done.
The end. Okay. Hooray!
Look, they have a little kitchen for hamsters. That's nice. At least it's a nice place to end. Okay, Teal dear, did you want to say anything before I go lie down? Should we look at the zucchini again?
I think it might be okay. One thing I did find amusing in that is that they went down, they immediately invoked Godwin's law on Milo. It's kind of like, oh yeah, publishing houses have every right to like not sell Nazi literature. Yes, what's your point? He just said a private company can, run things pretty much more or less as they want because they are a private, a private company like that.
Yeah, he doesn't want it brought up in a sort of neutral context like that. He thought, no, it was on my notes here. I was supposed to bring that up, and in the context of the Nazis. So
yeah,
this soundbite out now.
I did find that kind of funny. It's like, yeah, publishing companies have a right to not publish Nazi literature. It's like, yes, they do, but would you then like to tell me why Mein Kampf is one of the best-selling books and why, when it came to free publication, pretty much every publishing house was like, yeah, we're going to have that and start making it because it will sell, because it will make money, because it's very interesting. Now, that is literally Hitler.
Shall we, okay, so everyone listening, the Badger Cave fundraiser is still ongoing, www.feedthebadger.com. Please throw some shekels in the hat. I'll be putting up a final shill towards the middle and explaining all the vagaries of this fundraiser, and also banks are a bag of dicks. Hey, Mike, do you want to play some zucchini to play us out? Put some zucchini up.
I'll play you a bag of zucchinis, the size of a bag of dicks.
Well, no, actually, these zucchinis were far larger than dicks. They were like the dicks of things that are large, like a whale, maybe, or an ungulate of some description.
These are the unguloids you're looking for.
I'm actually pretty proud of this one, because it was a lot of the broadcast. All right.
I'm triggered by that one because it looks like it's been circumcised.
Or it's just, it's pulled, it's out of its sheath, as it were. Or possibly that could be a zucchini that had a stretch goal. It got to one size and it was like, yeah, I can go another 10 inches. And we found an even larger one than that, but I didn't get a video of it. I mean, I did put the video of it, but it was at the end when they were all in a pile and you really couldn't tell how big they were.
Yeah, it's not the length that does you in, it's the girth. That's what they say.
No, there's no way you could. People were like, oh my God, those are edible sex toys. Unless you are, no, there's no way you could get any one of those inside you. Maybe with a lot of yoga. And I think you'd probably be tearing yourself in half. Those are prize winning zucchini there. Okay. So
you're going to at least drill a hole in it, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could use it sort of like a zucchini light.
Mm-hmm.
Warm it up in the oven.
You could drill a shape out of it, remove the shape, and then you've got his and hers.
And then you could serve it to your guests and just say, this is my special cream sauce.
In any particular order. You can fuck it and then serve it, or you can serve it and then fuck it.
Okay, I'm going to end there.